No pro days off. That's right. Your old pals Fitzy and Hart are back once again with the latest and always greatest edition of Six Rings and Football Things, your favorite Foxborough talk show, conveniently held in your laptop or the palm of your hands. That's right. It is Drake May's agent. He is at Jumbo Hart. And of course, I am the Foxborough fanboy at Fitzy GFY. Today, here with a little Friday edition of Six Rings and Football Things, where we're going to talk about all the people that the Patriots visited with over the past week. We had pro days from Jaden Daniels, Drake May, Michael Penix, and more. Andy's going to weigh in on what the hell is wrong with Jaden Daniels' elbow in the photograph that turned a lot of heads and reviled many stomachs in Patriots Nation. Plus, the Patriots met with or have scheduled meetings with offensive linemen, wide receivers, defensive tackles, and so many more. And then in the back half, a little Patspourri. We'll talk about the Book of Belichick, some retirements, some surgeries, Robert Kraft on another TV show, and our other favorite Patriots podcast to date. All right, Andy, I'm going to play something for you right off the top. You know, there were a lot of pro days this week. We had Patriots brass in attendance in Death Valley for Jaden Daniels, at Chapel Hill for your boy Drake May, and even Cam Williams and other scouts all the way up in the Pacific Northwest for Michael Penix's pro day, which went better than anticipated. However, I do want to play you this. This is fresh analysis this morning. Dan Orlovsky from the ESPN network, the Entirely Sick Persons Network, talking about your boy and how his day went.
Last 10 minutes of that pro day can't go much better, and they were the strength of his game. If you had asked me, Hannah, the number one thing that pops on tape is how good he throws the ball downfield. You know, the 15, 20, 25 plus yard throws. And, you know, when we were watching, I said, my goodness, he has a hand cannon. Just the throws down the field, the last 10 throws that he had, last 10 minutes of throws he had in this pro day were absolutely spectacular.
All right. A hand cannon, absolutely spectacular. Look how well he throws the ball down the field. The final 10 minutes of his pro day couldn't have gone better. You must be on pre-draft cloud 9. And as we are all, as our pal Michael Hurley said on Twitter earlier this morning, completely mock drafted out with a month to go, you probably couldn't have sweeter music sung to your ears. You, the leader of the hashtag Take Drake movement.
Yeah, and it's funny because I feel like Drake May has somehow become the most polarizing figure. Like, he's either needs to sit out 2 years, couldn't possibly be ready, and then the 33rd team compared him to a potentially better than Joe Burrow. And I'm like, how can this be the same guy? He's not going to play in the NFL, or he's better than Joe Burrow. And then even the pro day yesterday, it was a lot of people loving what he did. And then there was a few that was like, oh, the receivers were slowing down. Oh, you see that out route? He airmailed an out route. Zoe is like, oh, don't take this guy. Zoe is so off of him because he airmailed one out route. And I'm like, what do we do? First of all, let's rewind for just a second. Pro days are stupid. Our boy Andrew Callahan, I thought, put it best. I think he was the one that tweeted it. They're batting practice. They're literally batting practice. And we know batting practice is meaningless. It is not baseball. And there's plenty of Willie Mo Peñas that can crush the ball in batting practice and blow in baseball.
They are 100. They are 100% like it's like watching them at Top Golf. These are long drive competitions. Like Drake May is supposed to do the thing that he does best, which is run to the right and throw it 65 yards on a tether. That's great. There's no defense. Everyone's in shirts and shorts. Like it's a show. It's a showcase. And if you miss a bunch of throws, then now now that's trouble.
Right. But and it's like what people are seeing and saying based on their biases, in my opinion. Like Jaden Daniels, the report was 5 balls hit the ground. And okay, so that's not great. Because to me, you should go like 72 of 72. Maybe 1 misses, whatever. So 5 balls, not great. The biggest news probably, because now I'm getting worried that Drake May is the guy that I'm falling in love with, and he goes number 2, except you got Brian Kelly saying that Jaden Daniels is going to make plays for Washington. I hope he knows what he's talking about, because I want no part in Jaden Daniels. I want Drake May.
Now, that's very interesting you say that, because, and it's not just because of the photo that turned a lot of heads and, reviled people on Twitter the other day when Rap Sheet put out the photo of Jaden Daniels throwing, and it must have been like, it had every internet doctor weighing in because it looked like his
Wow.
arm looked like it had grown an extra bone, or it looked like a typewriter slide, but it
No, it
was like,
looked like, have you seen the South Park where they grow penises on the forehead thing of the mouse or whatever? That's what it looked like. Like he had a penis growing out of his elbow. That's how I looked at it.
all right, everybody. Once again, that was Andy Hart with the South Park comparison to Jaden Daniels' elbow.
But apparently it's his bursa
Wasn't
sack, I
prepared
guess
for it.
everybody went with.
It's a bursa sack. Still, it was pretty horrifying. That said, I like the smoke and the swagger. I had to come to Death Valley and follow Joe Burrow. I think I'm prepared to go to Foxborough in the footsteps of Tom Brady. Like, okay, well played, well said. Looks fine throwing the ball. We're all enamored with his athletic ability and what a season he had on his way to the Heisman. 40 passing touchdowns, 10 rushing tutties. I don't know what it is about, even though he's super athletic, I don't know what it is about him that I'm hesitating over. Whereas I'm steering in the direction of Drake May. I understand why people think that we could have this swagtastic hybrid of Joe Burrow and Josh Allen. But then out of nowhere yesterday, entering the chat semi-officially, is Michael Penix, way up in the Pacific Northwest, running a 4.5 40, jumping 37 inches in the air vertical with 2 reconstructed ACLs. And we needn't belabor the point as to, one of everyone's favorite terms du jour, my man, arm talent to spare.
Oh, he definitely has arm. Like what did Orlovsky say? Hand cannon.
And
that makes me uncomfortable, and I don't know why. I'm just too immature. Patrick, I disagree. I think
a live watcher right now on Facebook as we stream this live on the WEEI socials and mine as well says, Patrick Jordan on Facebook, all these quarterbacks besides Caleb Williams are going too high.
Nope.
I disagree.
Nope. The question is becoming, and I heard a little rumor about you, one Fitzgerald.
Mm-hmm.
I heard a little birdie told me that you're going down Jonathan James Boulevard, and that you are becoming a little bit excited about a Wolverine coming to potentially New England. And you're on the Zoe train, because Zoe hated J.J. McCarthy until all of a sudden he's become a J.J. McCarthy guy, which I don't know how that happens, other than you're a bit of a fraud and you got a phone call from somebody saying you're wrong. You should probably stop saying everything you've been saying about how bad J.J. McCarthy is. But are you a J.J. McCarthy guy?
I like J.J. McCarthy. I do. And the thing is, no, absolutely not. No, he's not. I mean,
he's the fourth best quarterback. I've said that all along. I don't know where that fourth guy enters the equation. Like Patrick said, I firmly believe you have 3 guys worthy of going in the top 5. And we all know who they are. It's Williams, it's Daniels, it's May. And then J.J. McCarthy, if Jim Harbaugh gets his way or some of these other guys, maybe he's top 5 as well. I think that is too high. I do believe he is the 4th best quarterback, and I think he is significantly better, has more upside overall than Penix and Nix. But where that comes is that, you can trade down to 11 and get him as part of that whole trade down idea where you get 23 and next year. Probably not. I don't think he's going to be there that low. So,
I think what happens is Minnesota would love to get him at 11, but I think somebody like maybe even a Denver or someone else could try to trade up a couple of spots and jump in and get him. I don't think he's going to go to New York. I don't think New York is going to take another strong-armed mobile quarterback at pick 6 overall when they have many other needs. So
that's the comparison. That is and that's the comparison, and nobody gets it.
A better Daniel Jones, yes.
Daniel Jones, everybody was like, I kind of like Daniel Jones. He's got talent. He can do it. Whoa, Daniel Jones is going 6. I don't like him that much, was the whole idea of Daniel Jones. And I think J.J. McCarthy is the same thing. I kind of like him. I think he might be a starting quarterback in the NFL, but I can't take him that high. So I don't think the Giants could do that. If anything, they may trade out and take advantage of whoever wants to do that with Jonathan James.
Maybe what they could end up doing is trading back a couple spots, let a Minnesota overpay, jump up, get those picks. You may still be able to get a Rome Odunze at 11, and then for all we know, the Giants can grab a tackle later on as well. And that's what I would like the Patriots to do. If the Pats decide that they're going to trade back, I think you could get. I think you can get a quality receiver at 11. You could get Penix at 23, and then you end up with another first rounder next year. Plus, at 34, you can still grab a high quality tackle. Like, there's just so damn many.
Great. I get the 4th best receiver and the 5th best quarterback or the 6th best quarterback. And then guess what I don't have? A franchise quarterback. And I need you to tell me, how am I getting a franchise quarterback? Because you don't believe the quarterback you take at 23 is a franchise quarterback, do you?
I do 100%. But I've liked Michael Penix all along, and it's not just because I'm not just jumping on
You
the
love a
Penix
big
train.
Penix.
I
What?
you belong in a Penix century right now. Okay,
that's
you
not
should
bad.
be. That's
Well
not
played.
bad.
Not
Every
bad.
now and again, thank you. Every now and again, the sun shines on a duck's ass every now and again. I just think he's got he's a what was the line that he used yesterday? Like I ain't no chump or something like that. Like he said
Oh
something
yeah,
as
he
far.
was basically saying, I'm not the stiff that we can just throw that everybody
Yeah,
thinks I am. I'm an athlete. I can run, I
right.
can jump, I can do. And I learned that honestly in the national title game. They were in the red zone and he ran, I think, on 2 straight plays. And I was like, wait a minute. Everybody tells me this guy's got like bad knees, bad ACLs. He looks like a big badass athlete to me when he wants to be.
He was
smart.
hauling. Yeah, but because he's had shoulder injuries and obviously 2 ACLs. So the guy is smart enough to know when he has to make business decisions and when he should put his body on the line out there. You saw him hauling ass yesterday. 100%. This dude's an athlete. He can chuck it. He's got pinpoint precision.
That's where I would question. I'm not sure he has pinpoint precision. Now,
Are you
afraid
of the short passes?
No, intermediate too. There were games that I watched, some of those games where he did, and it's, remember my idea about a podcast called The Play Before or a book, The Play Before?
It's on the idea wall behind me.
He had a few he finished the game well. Well, not if you looked at the play before where he hit a cornerback in the hands who didn't catch it. I just don't think he is a franchise quarterback, and it's just my opinion. And we're getting to the, everybody's got opinions and they're like bungholes and they stink and the whole aspect of this period in time.
Neighbors, taxes, and backdoors. We've all got them.
Yeah. And I mean, we're at the point where Neighbors is better than Marvin Harrison and he should go higher. All these various things. It's too much. It's too much. And is it worse this year or are we paying more attention because we have the 3rd pick in the draft?
We're paying more attention because we have the 3rd pick in the draft.
So it's always this dumb.
I mean, the Goliath continues to grow and it's overwhelming and there's too much and there's more media and there are more websites because now, in addition to ESPN and NFL Network, everyone's paying attention to the Pro Football Focuses and the Warren Sharps and the Pro Football Network and the 33rd Team. Not to mention the 6 Rings and Football Things podcast and Tom Curran's Patriots Talk and Next Pats and EEI and the Sports Hub. And oh my God, I can't handle it anymore.
And we still got 27 days, 28 hours and whatever the hell it is in the countdown in the studio.
God.
I actually don't hate it. It's infuriating at times, but the thing I like about it is put your poll in somebody and stick with it. Your tent pole, not your other pole. Don't make that face. Your tent pole.
What kind of pole are we talking about?
Put your flag in somebody. My flag is in Drake May. I'm all in on Drake May. I want Drake May. Now I'm setting myself up for disappointment when Drake May is not available. But I don't think I joked the other day when I don't know if you put a poll or a question out. I was like, it's Drake. It's Drake yesterday. It's Drake today. Well,
Chris Bayless is watching right now on the X. Just joined the chat, boys. Did I miss who we want at quarterback? I put out a little thing that just said choose your fighter with photos of Drake May, Jaden Daniels, and May. Who was the third one? Not Caleb Williams. Jaden Daniels, Drake May.
You probably put JJ McCarthy because you like him.
I did.
Now.
No, I did.
JJ.
I wouldn't be unhappy. The thing is about JJ McCarthy, he's going to have to sit the longest as far as
the rest of the team come with him. The coach, the offensive line, the running back, the style of play.
I'll take Corum. I'll take Zach Zinter. I'll take Roman Wilson. Yes, I'll take all of those guys on my football team.
Your boy JJ, if he has to play, could get exposed because he's not ready. He could be a Mac Jones crush.
That's why I said you got to sit on. Keith and I tried to make this point the other night as well. Like, look, Jaden Daniels, Drake May, Caleb Williams, JJ McCarthy, Michael Penix, all these guys can play football. All these guys are competent, capable, and accomplished quarterbacks. It really is a matter of who goes to what system, how long they give him to mature and to learn the pro game, and when they decide to finally thrust him out there. If you send Drake May to the Wolves game 1,
he can do it.
You really think he could start game 1?
He's that damn good. I do. And I like him.
Wow.
You were giving Jaden Daniels credit for the I follow Joe Burrow and I can follow Tom Brady kind of mentality. Let's not forget Drake May at the combine. Why should a team draft you? Because you want a game plan with me, not against me. That's a drop the mic moment right there, bitch.
I knew you were going to be all over that. Wow, you've salty language. Somebody must have been outdoors watching their son play lacrosse in miserable weather today.
It was snowing. I had 4 jackets and a hoodie on, and I was still cold. It was miserable.
Yeah, you look like you just went like clamming in a storm.
In my first scrimmage of the year, and what do I see? The old coot refs. They're everywhere.
Yeah,
I'm with Matthew
boy,
Slater. Slater hates the refs, and he hid it for
don't
12
get
years,
Andy.
but he hates them no more. He doesn't have to hide it anymore. He's with Andy.
We'll talk about that in the back end with a little Patspourri as well. Matthew Slater appearing this week on Games with Names, the new and best, purest source of Pats porn out there in the wide world of the socials. But a couple other things real quick I just want to mention up top. In addition to meeting with Daniels in May and also sending scouts out to see Penix, the Patriots, their scouts kept a keen eye on Rome Odunze, Jalen Polk, and Jalen McMillan, 3 quality receivers coming out of the University of Washington. Jalen McMillan could be a steal in the 3rd round for a number of teams because he was dynamite in 2022. He was just all dinged up in 2023. Patriots also kept an eye on Bub Means, who's on the Rich Keefe Show all-name team for the 2024 draft. Productive receiver out of Pittsburgh. Safety Malik Mustafa out of Wake Forest, who apparently is Jabril Pepper's long-lost love child. He wakes up every day and chooses violence and is absolutely ripped like the Wolverine. The Patriots met with Virginia Tech defensive tackle Norrell Pollard at his pro day, according to Aaron Wilson. And they have a top 30 visit scheduled with BYU offensive tackle Kingsley Sumatia.
That is not how you say that. I don't.
Swamatia.
That's not how Phil Perry says it, and I feel like Phil Perry's a guy that learns the names. So
he does. I remember Phil Perry years ago spent so much time learning Yasmir Grossmatos. I specifically remember Grossmatos.
Yeah, see, it's funny. Phil and I are very different, and it probably says something about us. When I see a complicated name, I just say no. I'm not going to learn it. I'm nickname or something. Give me some. I'm not going to waste my time learning it. I'm not doing it. Won't do it. He learns it. That says something about Phil and me.
Andy, a question. Will is watching live on Twitter. If Drake May does indeed go 2nd overall, would you prefer JJ or Jaden? And I'll ask, or trade back.
I would take Jaden. I think there's 3 potential franchise QBs in this class. I think you take Jaden Daniels and you figure it out. I think there's highs with him. We didn't mention this. No, he couldn't. Fitzy could never start a game. Never.
An absolute disaster.
The Jaden Daniels pro day, like the interesting part was he finally, you don't have to hate yourself for agreeing with me. It means you're smart and you know football.
No,
that's who I am on this part.
It's just the
smart
general
guy who knows football.
No.
But Jaden Daniels finally weighed in. He weighed in at 210. Which is great because he was afraid to step on a scale.
6'3.5", 210. He's
his listed weight.
And I think Drake May's like 6'4", 230. He looks the part of the pro.
No comp there. But the problem is he didn't run. And there's the cynic in me that was like, are you not running because you put on 25 pounds to bulk up for the scale and now you are afraid you'll have a bad 40 time? Did you really play at like 185 during the year? And I don't know. This is pure speculation, BS period stuff. But he was one of the I don't remember people who were afraid to weigh in at the combine, and now he weighs in here, and he weighs in at what he's supposed to weigh in. Something smells a little funky there, but I know he's claiming he runs like a 4.3, 4.28, whatever. And
someone said, I think Nagy or someone else out of LSU said, "Oh, if he ran, it would have been a 4.35."
And I agree with that on tape. I told you a couple podcasts ago. You watched tape. Oh, absolutely pumping
tire pump,
tires, and every other aspect of the damn vehicle he's pumping up. But I told you, like, he splits defenders. His speed when running is not a problem. It is an asset to his game. So I don't really care that he didn't run other than just in comparison to the weight. And did he like bulk up and now he's that's just the weirdness of him. But no, I would take him at 3. I just like May more. I think May. I've said it all along. Do you want Patrick Mahomes potentially? Do you want Josh Allen potentially? Or do you want Lamar Jackson potentially? And you should take any of them if they have the potential to be 75 or 80% of those guys. That's better than what we've had, right? That's a step forward if you get, bargain store version of any of those 3 guys. So take one of those 3 guys because JJ, I'm not sure what JJ is. I'm not sure.
He's hyper athletic. He's a winner, according to Coach Harbaugh. He can't stop pumping that kid's tires like he's got stock in him as well, or he just loves him. I don't know.
No, he just wants Marvin Harrison to get pushed down to him. That's all he wants.
See, I would be willing to bet whatever is left in my FanDuel account right now, and then maybe even more, that Harbaugh's taken a tackle in some way, shape, or form, whether it's Fashanu or Joe Alt. I mean, like, he's going to have the most boring, fundamentally Harbaugh draft in the history of the NFL. There you go. Watch.
Justin Herbert will ask for a trade, and he can
zero chance.
I've heard of that. JJ
Wyro 50. JJ is Mac 2.0.
There's the potential. I think he's more physically gifted. I think he has a better arm and he's more athletic than Mac. I think he's more physically gifted than Mac.
No. JJ McCarthy he's got a stronger arm. He's much faster. He just needs time.
Oh, wait, Mac's gone, so now you're going to pile all on him? I was critical of his arm strength forever. You told me it was strong enough.
It was strong enough, but it was still Pennington-esque at times.
It was strong enough to throw it to the goal line when his tight end was in the back of the end zone.
He panicked.
That's what I like.
He was mentally broken.
Mentally broken.
Last question in this round. If quarterback is pick 1, do we go left? We have pick 34, Jeff. Do we go left tackle at 34? They need to address it. No, come on. You need a receiver.
No, you don't. You need a tackle. You want a receiver. Do I have to tell you the difference between needs and wants?
Then maybe we need to go 11-23 plus another pick in 34.
No, I don't want crappy players at all the positions. I want to get my damn quarterback, and then there will be a starting caliber tackle on the board at 34.
So you're going to go tackle at 34, and then you're going to wait till the 3rd round to grab a receiver. I know there's the Ricky Pierce, my boy McCullough will be gone.
Puka Nacua? You want Puka Nacua? Where'd he go?
The 5th round, and I'm the one who said on the Rich Keefe show who the new Puka Nacua is going to be. It's going to be Javon Baker out of University of Central Florida. You can have him in the 4th.
You would have heard of him if you listened to the podcast with Six Rings, Scheim, Hart, and Cadlick talking about mid to late round receivers, because we see talent not just early but all rounds. We see
Jalen McMillan and Javon Baker.
But you need a tackle for the draft. You need.
Yeah, you do.
You want.
I'm not running a core 4 out there for several years at left tackle,
and that's the problem. Like, you don't have a left tackle. You have receivers. You may not like them. You may not have a number 1 receiver, but you could line up with Demario Douglas and Juju Smith-Schuster and Kendrick Bourne. Right? Those are receivers. They're paid in the National Football. They're professional.
Juju Smith.
You don't have a left tackle. You don't have a left tackle. You don't have one. Okorafor is a right tackle. Onwenu is a right tackle. Right?
Mm-hmm. I couldn't disagree.
You don't have a left tackle right now.
We don't. We need one.
You know what it would be? The Red Sox famous starting pitcher would get in his car and drive down 95 to Gillette. TBD would be starting at left tackle. TBD would be your left tackle.
I much prefer TFB to TBD. I'm done with the TBDs. I'm also done with switching guys out of position, the hobo rumbles, the bum fights, and the rest of it. You 110,000 million % need to find a way to get a starting left tackle as well. That's why I would trade back. I still like Penix and plus players. You want to go with your boy Drake May and then grab a tackle, so be it. And these are the debates that have raged on, the wildfires of discussion and argumentative football chatter that will continue. And you can always shout at us anytime that you want to. You know where to find me, at FitzyGFY, and of course Drake May's agent is at Jumbo Hart. All right, guy. Let's do a couple of Patspourri related types of things. Something, all the stuff that's not draft related. Would you like to say a few words about your boy Cody Davis, who retired from the National Football League after several productive seasons? Looks like the special teams of the Patriots are going to need a bolstering. Goodbye, Chris Board. Matthew Slater retires. Cody Davis is retired.
That's okay, because you have the greatest special teamer in the history of the game still on the roster.
Schooler?
Yep.
Your boy Schooler? He's going to have to calm down this year.
Legitimately, Matthew Slater, and I know it's probably like dumb business to drive people who are listening to one podcast to another podcast, that competitor, but that's what we do. We're open-minded. We talk about everything. That's just our reality. Matthew Slater said Brendan Schooler has the ability to be the best that's ever done it.
Speaking of which, here's a little clip from this show. And also, that is a podcast, so you can listen to Names with Games, but you can also watch it on YouTube, and you can consume all the clips on social. And they're absolutely killing it. Exactly. Although this is a little bit lively. They're a slight bit handsomer, a little more 4K, and also they're talking about their friend and teammate Tom Brady. This clip gave me a nice little bit of lull this week.
At the altar. It's called what it is.
Yep.
Yeah, Tom. Don't worry, Tom. I still got your jersey up in my office right next to my dad's. And you'll always be my guy, but you left us.
He had left us. Probably would have done the same thing if I was Tom Brady.
That just like find you someone in this life that you can get along with and laugh like Slater and Edelman did over those 2 hours. It's like it's the best. If this was an effing TV show, I'd watch it. Like they are killing it. Edelman's in his bag. I think it's the most comfortable I've seen him in his broadcasting and post playing career as well.
That's his guy.
Oh,
right. Like that.
Slate is the best.
Slate is the best, but their chemistry, they have a unexpected alliance, and unexpected because they're very different. Like, even at the end when Edelman goes, hey, you got anything else you need to add? Like maybe a shout out to JC. I know you like to do that or something to Jesus Christ. And he's like, and it's great that a Christian and a Jew can talk. And like, they went on this whole, and they're awesome. Their chemistry, they are the perfect example. And I don't know if we need to get into this on our podcast because we are a WEEI podcast, but chemistry is what matters in the audio medium, in my opinion. Chemistry matters. It's not a science, it's an art. And when you have chemistry and fun, run with it.
And also, like Edelman and Slater, Edelman and Slater can, oh, come on. For a fact, local media has actually discussed the chemistry displayed amongst all the people, all the brand personalities, the nights and weekend guys at WEEI. Yeah. That's where the best chemistry is on display. Good job, everyone. Also, Edelman and Slater in terms of their bonding, like the bonds forged, Edelman taken in 09, Slater drafted in 08, both special teamers who can say, hey, did either of us expect to be playing safety in Super Bowl 46? We did not. But you know what? Sometimes shit goes sideways and you have to make do with it. And that's what you love about those guys. Oh, come on. You were talking about arm penises and called someone a bitch earlier. If I can't drop an S-bomb, then it's not our podcast.
That's true. But we are live.
That's fine. You know what? Who doesn't love a midday S-bomb? Anyone else have any requests for foul language they want to use? Hit us up in the chat box.
I promise to read any word that is written in the chat.
Oh, God. All right. Jonathan Jones, the slot cornerback who must have convinced the Patriots not to pursue my guy, L'Jarius Sneed, who could have been had for a third-round draft pick from the Kansas City Chiefs, had surgery this week, Andy. I don't believe we've confirmed exactly what it was. Would you speculate that it was the ankle?
Fusk the Jets.
Good job, Frank Wheelock.
Yeah, I don't want to speculate. I mean, he had the ankle and then he had another injury. I forgot what the other one was during the year that he dealt with. But yeah, he put that on social media, the little surgical gown, surgical cap photo. He didn't seem too worried about it. So I'm not going to be too worried about it because you know me, I'm in general worried still about the cornerback position. I think it's still a house of cards. You need a corner. You sneaky need a corner.
Okay. Would you have, so we haven't actually had a chance to, thank you, Pete the Animal Austin, watching live on YouTube. Go Pats and go F yourselves. All right. Attaboy. And Jeff Stenberg comes in with Steam Rotor. I'm missing Dakota in his horrendous picks. That's a shout out to our guy, Dakota from Braintree, who I've done some gambling podcasts live with before.
Steam Rotor.
He meant to say, he meant to say, when you say like, oh, you railroaded a team or you steam, not steam. Yeah. See, he meant to say, he fused steamrolled and railroaded. And he said somebody got steamroaded. And that just became one of my all-time favorite incidental portmanteaus. Good job, Jeff, on that one. What were you saying there, Andrew?
We were talking about Jonathan Jones, the need
Jonathan Jones. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay, so I wanted to ask you real quick. Would you have traded a third-round pick for L'Jarius Sneed and paid him $19 million? Because I would have.
I think I would have.
And I think he's a
damn
good ball player.
Because that either gives you two really good corners or it takes some pressure off Christian Gonzalez. I've kind of put Christian Gonzalez and Tristan Casas in the same boat of, yeah, I like them and I think they're going to be good, but I don't know for sure they're going to be as good as everybody seems to think they're going to be, because Christian Gonzalez is some combination of Stephon Gilmore and Deion Sanders after 3.5 games in a New England Patriots uniform. And, I'd like the second time around to come about. I'd like him to face Aaron Rodgers a couple times and just see where he is in the evolution where he becomes. I think he's going to be a great corner. You know how excited we were when they got him on draft day. I still hold that hope.
And looked good for 3.5 games until he tore his labrum against the Cowboys. Then Matthew Judon tears his bicep and the season goes in the shitter.
The Phil Plantier rule tells me that I need to wait a little bit and see if he can do it on a regular basis.
So you have Gonzo, Jonathan Jones, Isaiah Bolden, Marcus Jones at corner this year. How could you not have benefited from having L'Jarius Sneed back there? Then you start Gonzo and Sneed. Jones and Jones can work the slots. And then Bolden is your 5th corner / flex special teamer. Like, you're going to have to lean on the running game and defense all year long. That's what this team is going to be based around in principle. Duh, no kidding. Thanks, Captain Obvious. I don't see how L'Jarius Sneed wouldn't have helped this team tremendously.
Now, it's money that you may want to invest elsewhere, or you feel like you don't want to spend too much money at the cornerback position over the course of time. I don't know. I think that's a little early to be projecting when you're going to pay Christian Gonzalez after 3 years. Like, I would have done it. You had the money to spend. You didn't have to burn it. You could just spend it and make your add to your defense, especially if you think your offense is going to be a low-scoring unit and have some issues. But they didn't, so we move on. So cornerback remains a need to sign somebody or to draft somebody. You need, in my opinion, you absolutely need to either sign a proven veteran, the Stephon Gilmore type, or somebody for $8 million, whatever that number is going to be, or you might need to take a corner earlier than people would want, like somewhere, because we're just like quarterback,
someone just had
wide receiver. Somewhere
Matt Miller had them take. Yeah, I'm sorry to interrupt, Andy, but Matt Miller had the Patriots trading out, taking the 11 and 23.
That was the worst mock draft I've ever seen.
Can you imagine the reaction on draft night if the Patriots leave the first round with a tackle and a corner?
Yeah, that
was. Oh my God. Oh, I almost kind of want it.
Corner though. What kind of corner? A corner that some people think could be a safety, not even a real corner.
Yeah.
Plus he's white, but that has nothing to do with it. I'm just saying he might end up as a safety.
Right. J.C. Jackson, Wyro.
Because if he's the next white corner, well, he's Jason Sehorn.
I was going to say Jason Sehorn comes to mind, and then that's about the only one that I can remember in recent years as well. All right, 2 last little things here before we wrap it up. Robert Kraft appeared on the show The Shop, which is produced by and hosted by Paul Rivera and LeBron James' bestie and business partner Maverick Carter. That's usually where they put together athletes, celebrities, and more in a casual type of setting so as to relax everyone for a candid conversation about sports, entertainment, life, leadership, and more. This is the show where Tom Brady famously said that 90% of what he says is lies. And he also said, "You're going to stick with that, mother effer?" Well, Robert Kraft was on this week with quite a mix. So it was Paul Rivera, Maverick Carter, and it was Robert Kraft, Michael Rubin from Fanatics, his one of his business besties, actress Tiffany Haddish, who's a phenomenal voiceover artist and very funny in her own right, but a random pick, and wide receiver Davante Adams from the Raiders. Here's a little exchange where Davante Adams and Kraft went back and forth on a number of things, but this one is funny, but also sort of like just ride some of those dynasty coattails of like, hey, I'm just going to put more things at the doorstep of Belichick.
Learn in so many different ways. Like I learned from new guys. Like I learned from Jacoby this year, like so much that I didn't know before. Like,
wow, you shouldn't have let him go.
I was gonna get to that, but I.
He's right, but also, I mean, didn't Correct me if I'm wrong, Andy. Didn't Belichick want to keep Myers and somebody in the scouting or personnel department? I mean, this all revisionist historianism?
There's mixed reporting and revisionist historianism, whatever you want to call it, on that. I'm going to choose to be optimistic. The reason Robert is sitting in that room is one, it's singular. How did I win our perfect offseason Patriots draft that we did with Mike Cadlick? How did I win it? What did I do?
Going offense. You took receivers. You wanted to pay money for offense.
I traded for a receiver, and he was sitting in the shop opposite Robert Kraft. Robert Kraft was laying the foundation trade for Davante Adams. Old man, he should stop. No. Crazy like a mother bleeping fox. A gray fox. A fox is in the hen house with Davante Adams, and he's bringing him home.
Michael Penix is going to go to the Raiders, and then Davante Adams' deep game is going to wake the F up all over again. And Gardner Minshew is going to be a very expensive piece of mantle dressing because Penix will win that job in a heartbeat if he goes to the Raiders. I will say this. it was very interesting how Adams and Kraft in this episode, you can just go to YouTube and watch the whole episode. It's about 45 minutes long, 1 hour TV length minus
Why
the
is he there?
commercials. I think because
I
think
like my plan, but I don't think
but
that's
that's the whole thing. They mix it. The whole thing is all about mixing up, like I said, business people, celebrities.
When
I don't
was
know.
the last
Robert Kraft continues to just
white owner
like,
who was on there.
look at how much he's taught. Like this year, all the talking in the dynasty, the whole thing with farewell Belichick, and then getting called Young Thunder, and this thing with Gerard Mayo. Like he's been front and center a whole lot. Now, to some Patriots fans dislike, they almost kind of think like, all right, at this point now, plus he spoke last week at the NFL owners meetings. Like some Pats fans have officially joined the less is more Mr. Kraft movement, to say the least.
Mm-hmm. I would join that. I think in general they've all been talking too much and they haven't been one unified voice. I think somehow they preach collaboration and it's like they never talk behind the scenes. Elliot Wolf cleans up for Mayo, Mayo cleans up for Kraft, Kraft cleans up for Mayo. Like, how about we get on the same page here before we step in front of a microphone or go on a shop or do any of this?
Yeah, I'm good now. Just draft, get me some football players. Tell me that the football team going forward is going to be better.
That's the only thing I liked Robert
saying. All I want.
Get me a young quarterback. Get me a damn young quarterback now.
He also says, he tells a story about how they were on one of his many retreats in Israel, and he watched the way that Gerard Mayo interacted with everyone, and that's when he decided that he was going to be the next coach.
I hate that.
Anyway, it's out there. It's out there for you to watch. Last but not least, Andy, it was announced this morning, or rather it was reported this morning by our friends over at The Athletic, that Bill Belichick will be writing a book. Now, before anyone goes off and says, aha, finally, my dynasty, or I did it my way, or no days off, or, let's party the Bill Belichick story, or I'll show you what craft work is all about. As Mike Giardi reported, the discussion that was had at the NFL owners meetings this week is that it's going to be a book about leadership. So what do you think?
If that's true, I'm not really overly interested, quite honestly. I want the dirt. I want history. Not the dirt. I shouldn't say that, because I think we all argued that the dynasty had too much dirt. I want the truth.
Right.
I want the truth.
And you can't handle the truth.
Oh, I can. I can handle it. I want the truth.
But isn't it never mean, by the way?
The truth is never mean. I agree. 100%. Yeah. If he wants to give me the full truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, that's good. Or even if he just wants to give me his version of the truth to kind of let me average it out with the Jeff Benedict version of the truth, the Robert Kraft version of the truth, then at least I would have something to counterpoint with or to average out.
Thank you, Pete the Animal Austin, watching live on YouTube. On to Cincinnati. We can't forget that. Those are all the one and many Belichick-isms. I don't know what I think it's going to be very much. It'll be something like, what's the edge, like, isn't the one that the late great the guy who David Halberstam, he's the man who coined the phrase Red Sox Nation, the education of a coach.
Yeah,
I think it's going to be along those lines of just like the true values of what he learned coaching and from his dad and what he's passed on to Steve. By the way, Steve Belichick, sick burn this week on your dad.
Awesome.
I have a job and he doesn't. I'm a bigger Steve Belichick fan by the day. I told you I think he's good. I'm rooting for him big time.
But if Bill's book is this is going to sound like a cheap shot, because it is. This book's like 5 years too late. I mean, Belichick's leadership was pretty piss poor over the last 4 or 5 years.
Frank Wheelock, the book should be called.
I'd read that more than leadership, because the leadership sailed. The leadership sailed like 5 years ago.
I know.
Like, he should have written this book when they were still good. They were still dominant, all of that. His leadership, I think, was piss poor over the last 4 or 5 years. So I'm not sure it's time for a Belichick book on leadership.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. Like that's the one thing that bummed us out that we talked about here on the pod and on the Fitzy and Hart show and beyond. No one is ever going to deny how much the man knows about football, about how much he's done for football, done for our lives, changed the game, et cetera, et cetera. But as we're now coming to learn, as there were disagreements between ownership and management and the executives and the coaches and Kraft and Belichick, these little petty fissures that broke out affected the quality of the team and affected the quality of the work Belichick was doing. And so it felt kind of pissy and petulant as opposed to like motivational and masterful like it used to be. And I agree with you. I mean, the man, I hope he goes somewhere else, coaches great again, and we move past all the negativity. I want to flush away all this stuff. Maybe what'll happen is Belichick appears on Tom Brady's big retirement day, June 12th, 2024 at the stadium. Doesn't even say anything. Your coach of 24 years, Tom Brady's. Please welcome our next speaker, Bill Belichick. He'll get a 5-minute standing ovation from the stadium.
Correct.
Long overdue and deserved.
Will everybody show up for that one, or is it going to be like the finale where half the stadium was empty? I bet they'll show up for that one. Cheap shot. I can't let it go.
To do that, I know.
Before we wrap this up, I did want, because this plays into our discussion right here about Belichick and leadership and the importance and everything, the dynasty. Dante Scarnecchia was on Sirius Satellite Radio this morning, NFL Radio. Mike Reese has transcribed it. He does not plan to watch the dynasty, and his answer to why is very interesting and plays into this, and it has to do with the respect that may or may not be given to other key members. Scar said, when I heard after the first couple of episodes that they had talked to one coach, I started texting guys and asked Charlie Weiss if he had been interviewed, and he said no. Then Romeo Crennel, then Brad Seeley. Those three guys came there and in the first year implemented systems on offense, defense, and special teams that essentially transcended the next 20 years. And not one of them was interviewed. And I said, how can this possibly be? I get it. Bill is unbelievable. The greatest coach that there ever has been. And we've had a lot of great players. But I also think the guys that really started the whole thing, I was aghast that they were not interviewed. There is some selective journalism here, and I don't like it. And he's talking about not Bill getting painted in a negative light, but how can you talk about the dynasty without the architects of offense, defense, and special teams, Charlie Weiss, Romeo Crennel, and Brad Seeley? And that right there is why Scar's the best to ever do it, because he can tell it like it is. Bill's great, but Bill was great with help. And if you're not going to talk about the help, then I want no part of you. Good job,
and there was more help than Ernie Adams, who was front and center in several episodes of the Dynasty.
We are at Ernie Adams' saturation point.
Go back behind the wall. We had no Ernie Adams before. Time for Laszlo to go in the closet and go down to the basement.
Seriously,
where he's got the prize.
DC for photo ops with Billy O'Brien.
I know pink, and there's pink stripes. I know.
What are we doing?
On the next episode, Andy and I will break down whether the BC Eagles could actually beat the New England Patriots this fall. I think I'm going to go to a game. We got to go to a game. Group outing at a game. What do we say?
I do have a prediction.
Okay.
And you won't like this. I don't know if it's a prediction. I have a question for you. Who's closer to the playoffs? The new expanded playoffs, Boston College under Billy O'Brien or the Patriots under Gerard Mayo?
And we will answer that question at the start of our next installment. That's called the vertical. That's called a tease, everybody.
That's a little podcast tease right there.
We'll be back at the start of next week as well. We've got lots of podcasts, more prospect podcasts, one-off Wednesdays, the regular Six Rings and Football things with Fitzy and Hart. Thank you guys for listening. Thanks for following along. Thanks for playing along, watching live. The comments and everything are absolutely the best, and we appreciate all of you. He's at Jumbo Hart. I'm your old pal at Fitzy GFY. We will talk to you guys, some of you, selective appreciation. That's the title of the Andy Hart story.
Yep.
We'll talk to you guys. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy the rest of the Final Four, the March Madness as well. Hopefully the Celtics can get out of their tailspin. Hey, the Red Sox won a game. They're going to go undefeated. 162 is at hand. For Hart, this is Fitzy and everyone at WEEI 2400 Sports and Odyssey. Thanks for listening to Six Rings and Football Things. Good day. God bless. FEA. And as always,